I'm sitting here at Paragraphs on Padre with Joni Montover, and we're talking a little bit about how she ended up coming down to the island. And now it's all on to you, and my job is done.
Okay. Well, I don't know. A number of years ago, we were winter Texans, and I'd come down every year, and just sort of fell in love with the island and wanted to be here. And there were only a couple places to buy books. Steve's was one, and the other was across the bridge at Rod Bates. But sometimes if you wanted a new release or something, you just couldn't find it. So we thought that was something we needed. So here we are.
Well, you were in a business totally well, you were in a book business of sorts before you came down here, weren't you?
Different kinds of books.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were a CPA?
CPA, yes.
So that was easy to transfer over keeping books to selling books.
Yes, I guess, except for I don't do the keeping books very well. But no, I've always loved books. I love to read. It's fun to share and talk about it and tell other people about books and try to find the right books, get the right book to the right person. That's what I try to do.
One thing I appreciate about your shop is the mixture of books that you have. You've got everything from rare books right on up into contemporary literature. You have a lot of local authors.
We try to make sure that anybody that's local that has a book, we try to make sure that we carry those. We also give them, try to do book signings or allow for them to come in and tell the people about their books. We usually keep most of our local authors on stock. You're one of our best. Because it's nice to have a book about South Padre Island, and so Steve's books sell very well for that. Everything we have, what makes us a little different than the big bookstores is everything we have is pretty much hand-picked. So if you come in, we know pretty much what we have here. We know what's going to work for different authors. We know what our people like to read. If we don't have it, we can probably get it in a couple of days.
I've noticed that on your cash register, it's built into your computer. Obviously, you've got a detailed record there of every book you have in the store.
Generally, yes. Sometimes we can't find them when we're looking for them, but yes, we keep. We have an automated inventory system, so everything comes in, gets listed. All of our used books are listed, so we can always find that. We also know that way we can keep track of what we're selling and those things that favorite authors or something, so we make sure that we keep those on hand.
One thing I've noticed in the past, your rare books. Now, there's a story behind your base collection of rare books.
Well, we don't really pride ourselves on having rare books because I know that on this island, if somebody wants rare books, that they would come to you or to, like I said, to Rod Bates, because you guys do a lot more, especially with rare books that are in the area, and know more about rare books. The old books that we have up above are things that have been from my husband's collection or from my collection. A lot of them are from his grandparents from the 1900s, and then they're books that we've had in our family for years and years. Or just odds and ends that I've picked up. I've always liked to collect books. But I can't say that we are experts on knowing what's really valuable or not, as far as an antiquarian bookseller. If somebody's looking for a book, we can certainly try to find it. We have contacts in the antiquarian book business that we can try to find a book for somebody.
You have a collection of old books on the shelves, and from what I understand, a lot of those came from personal collections of both you and your husband.
Yes. Griff's grandparents, we lived in a farm that was an old Shaker farm, and a lot of the things that from Griff's grandparents had been sent there and over the years, and so gradually we would go through. I went through a lot of the books and found them, and there's some wonderful collections, like a set of Louisa May Alcott, that were from his grandmother's, and the complete set of those. We have some of the old Wizard of Oz books that were from published in 1900, I think. I have the great books collection that I've collected over the years from Mortimer Adler when they put those together for the Britannica that I like. And it's just, like I said, they're just some neat things that either we've had from his family or that I've collected over the years.
They certainly add to the flavor of your shop. You've got such a combination here of big city in that you have such a nice selection of books, but you're really a small town bookstore. You're very personalized. People can come in and sit in these chairs and relax and read. You have a coffee machine. You've got coffee available.
Yes.
You have tea and other soft drinks, and of course we have the bookends here.
Yes.
You know.
No, our whole goal was to make it be a very place for people to come and hang out and feel comfortable. We'd like to have it even be a place where people come to talk about local issues. We have meetings. The surf writers meet here once a month. We have a playwriters group play readers group. They come and we select one play and people take different parts and we read that. We're working on putting together a writers group that meets once a month. But basically anybody that, if you have a group or something that they'd need some place to meet, we'd be happy to accommodate people as much as we can. During the winter Texan season, we've had some people come and make cards. We have a craft class a couple of days a week. So we're here for the community, and whatever, it's sort of like we will become whatever the community wants us to be. That's how we'll.
That's a very good way of describing it.
So.
Okay.
But mostly we just like books, and we just like to be here, and it gives us a good way to be here and find out what's going on in town and get to know everybody, but yet provide our little bit of service, our little bit of the island.
Do you get a chance to read books yourself?
Oh, I read a lot. I don't read as closely as I used to read. I have to do a lot more skimming, but I probably read at least 3 or 4 books a week. So.
I know in the past you have written book reviews for various publications. Do you foresee this as something you'll be doing in the future?
Yes, I just need to sit down and start doing it. I am a very bad procrastinator when it comes to writing, and I'm not that much of a writer, so it just takes me forever. But yes, I scribble out down notes for myself, and I had been writing them for my blog, and then Facebook and Twitter sort of took over, and you can do the same thing with a lot fewer words, so I got away from writing the reviews for the blog. But I need to do those for the blog, and also for paper. I would love to do that.
Just briefly, can you tell me a little bit about some of the different writers that have done book signings here? There's, just to give you some ideas, there's David Harry and there's Seth Patterson and others.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about some of the book signings?
We had a very successful launch. Well, it wasn't the launch, but the book signing for Seth Patterson, who had done a beautiful picture book of called El Valle, which is a story of the Rio Grande Valley. And I think it was written, the writing in it is about 15 or 20 different people contributed, and then Seth did most of the photography, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. And he did a wonderful presentation one night, and we had a fairly full house for that. We've also had David Harry, who is from Dallas, will become a resident of the island shortly. And he's done 2 different books. We call them the Padre series, the Padre Puzzle, and then followed up with the Padre Predator. And they're wonderful little mysteries that take place on the island. Susan Holmes has done a little bit of her book from the Mayan Moon.
Touch the Mayan Moon.
Touch the Mayan Moon, which is a romance that takes place in the valley. And then Cindy Bradford, who is a local writer, has done a series of books, and she's done signings here. We also had a gentleman that did a signing about a Theodore Roosevelt, the book that he did on that, which was a very successful signing. But we just we've done mostly local writers for our book signings. We had one this morning, of course, that the book didn't show up, so that was a unique experience.
That's always a tough experience to have a book signing without books.
Without the book. But she was Eugenia was very gracious. She is a flutist who is going to be performing for the El Paseo Arts Foundation tonight, and she had done a book about women and how they would spend time in their mother's closets. It was she interviewed, I don't know exactly how many, 20 or some women, and these are their stories in the book. And it sounds like a beautiful book. I can't wait to get it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking time, and want to encourage all of you to visit Paragraphs on Padre when you're on the island, and it's easy to find. Drive north. Is it about 3 miles north of the
3 miles north of the causeway.
On the left-hand side, and you will see the sign that says open.